Welcome to the following presentation of the Adrenaline Sim Racing Association. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are back here with the ASRA NBC Cup Series at the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway, and it's time to get ready for the Great American Race by setting the starting lineup for the Daytona 500. We start things off with tonight's Xfinity Duels here from Daytona. I'm Jack Mitchell alongside Andrew Anderson and Eric Braxton in the booth. Guys, how we feeling about tonight?
I'm excited about tonight. This is going to be a really good race to watch.
Feeling really good. Good night for racing. About to have some fun.
That we are. So we got 32 laps in each duel race here at Daytona. Duel number 1 is going to set the inside row for the 500. Duel number 2 is going to set the outside. So let's go ahead and dive into our starting lineup for duel number 1. On the pole is going to be the 51 of Thomas Johnson, David Smith, and the 15 is to his outside. Next, it's Shazan Rana, and I'm going to butcher this pronunciation so hard, but we're going to try it anyway. Hannes Narager in row number 2. Jack Mitchell and Eric Braxton make up row number 3. Row number 4, it's Jay Mack in the 24 and Felipe Henriquez in the 97. Next up, it's Connor Hudson in the 49 and Anthony Foss in the 45. Wes Hayes in the 11 and Landon Mills in the 23 are in row 6. Row 7, it's Blaze McKinney in the 87 and Kevin Campbell in the 93. And Roberto Crowden Jr. rounds out the field in the 21 by himself in the back row. Should be a fun race. Not going to get the full pack racing that we're used to here at Daytona, but we're going to get something like that. We're going to get some fun draft action and nice little preview of what's to come at Daytona. So without further ado, let's go trackside and get those most famous words of motorsports. Engines have been fired here at Daytona. Thomas Johnson, the 51 Dodge Charger, is going to lead on the green. I think what's going to be pretty fun about the duels too is that this is going to be our first full introduction to the field as well, because when we ran the Clash at the LA Coliseum recently, that was only 14 cars of the whole 30 car field, but now we're going to see everybody in action at some point here this evening. So this will be an opportunity for you guys to see who the entire field is and pick out your favorite drivers if you're not competing.
A few familiar faces from the Clash in this first duel here.
Yeah, you got Dave Smith. He ran pretty well in the Clash for the most part. I can't say too many people ran that great during the Clash because of all the crashing that was happening in turn 4 during that race. But
yeah, with that gate like wide open, just catching people off guard.
That, and I would keep an eye on the 82, known to force 3 and 4 wide into a track that does not suit it well. So we'll see what happens with that one.
yeah, we had 4 wide racing at the LA Coliseum, which is for the uninitiated. Just don't try it. Don't even bother. It's not worth it.
The 2 flips.
Yeah, multiple flips on a quarter-mile track. Who would have thought? At Daytona, though, there's a lot more room. You can run 3 wide. Granted, there's not too much more room because there are super speedways out there that they would have an easier time. And we're going to go to more super speedways throughout the course of the season, such as Armory Digital, where you can run 4 wide, make that work for most of the time. Talladega, too, is known to have a lot of space. Daytona, it's a lot tighter, but you can make 3 wide work.
Of course, you have to right moves at the right time. Try not to wreck your car or anyone else's.
Absolutely. Pace car is going to dive on the pit road. Thomas Johnson in the 51 is going to lead them to the restart zone, and we are green in the first duel at Daytona.
Side by side, coming into turn number 1. Thomas Johnson trying to keep that lead.
Look at that.
15 of Smith.
Going to go 3 wide already.
Already 3 wide.
Don't want to get too aggressive too early. 32 laps. It's not a whole lot, but there's plenty of time to make moves. And this race is essentially for the pole position because this is going to set the inside row. We didn't really have a qualifying session that locked in the front row. This is just going to determine the pole sitter right away. Some more 3 wide mid pack. Jack Mitchell's in the middle. 97's giving him a push.
04 looking on the inside.
I believe that was the 45 car that also shot to the low side in the back. As Shazan Rana assumes the race lead. Connor Hudson giving him a push on the bottom, or at least trying to. Connor Hudson likes Daytona. This is one of his better tracks, so I'd keep an eye out on that 49 car throughout the course of this event.
Pushing Shaz, that's the 24 of J Mac in the Oreo car. Trying to see if he can not only push the 04, but try to see if he can take over the leading spot in one of these other 2 lanes.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit tricky to do that from the middle or the top. I think you can do it if you have enough of a push, but definitely the bottom is the more preferred line, so these guys are going to be kind of jockeying for position. As you can see, Connor Hudson kind of gave the 04 a bit of a shove to the high side.
Just battling and just trying to keep all these lanes behind him. Let's see how long he can keep that up for.
Yeah, this is good by the 04. He's doing that thing where you have to, like, hold the middle of the track. You're blocking both lines at once. 3 wide in the back. Dave Smith on the top, Blaze McKinney on the bottom. The 1 and the 87 are teammates, so I'd be curious to see if they might try to link up here and work together a little bit.
And teammates is something you do need in Daytona, regardless of team or manufacturer support. If you can get teammates and make everybody happy at Daytona, then you know you got a good drafting partner.
Absolutely. As the 24 J Mac goes to the low side in front of Connor Hudson, he's going to try and take the race lead away from Shazan Rana, and he's going to do that down the backstretch. He's not completely clear just yet.
Being pushed by the 49 of Connor Hudson. And more 3 wide racing back there as we're 2 for 2 up in the front.
Yeah, we are. Dave Smith on the high side of the racetrack. Come on 04.
So far coming into lap number 5. Pretty clean race so far.
Yeah, everybody's kept it clean. Nobody's really made like any hyper aggressive moves just yet. Still early on. Maybe we'll see some of those moves come toward the end of the race, but I feel like a lot of these guys just want to try and keep their race cars clean. You know, you don't want to tear up your race car right before the Daytona 500. These guys, you only get one backup car. If you wreck, you have to go to the back of the field.
Definitely seems like they're biding their time, especially with what you said. Don't want to ruin everything just before the Daytona 500.
Absolutely. You're going to get all 30 cars on track for the first time. There's going to be a lot of cars out there. There's going to be plenty of traffic. Looks like they're 3 wide, almost 2 rows deep in the back.
As the 24 Jack May continues his very impressive lead right now. Then you got the 04 and the 49 just keeping those lines in check.
Yeah, Connor Hudson's doing a pretty good job here at Daytona. Let's go on board with that 49 car. In a 2 wide battle right now with Shazan Rana. Doing a great job managing the traffic behind him. Seven laps complete. I believe we're actually on lap 7 right now. J Mac continuing to show the way here at Daytona.
And looks like finally the 3 wide situation in the back is kind of settling out. You got the 15 of Papa Dave still trying to find where he's trying to go. But I think that he's just going to try to duck into that middle, or not the middle, the top lane.
Yeah, Dave Smith has been kind of stuck on that high side for pretty much the whole entire race. He hasn't really made up any ground. Just been sort of stuck near the back of the field, near that, in that battle with the 97, and I forget who that was on the bottom already.
Yeah, I think that's a Felipe? Yeah, Felipe.
Felipe Henriquez. Is it pronounced Henriquez? I'm probably butchering that, but...
It is Henriquez, yes.
Okay.
You do have it correct.
Good to know.
It looks like we finally got our 2 lanes of racing, all of them being led by the 24 of Jack May.
J-Mac in the 24.
Yeah, yes, thank you.
Look, it's a long season. We're still figuring out most of these drivers' names. We're going to probably butcher a few of them, but we'll get better as the year goes along.
Of course, these cars looking beautiful under the lights here at Daytona.
Absolutely. Love the way these next-gen cars look at Daytona. And that's what we'll see in the 500, too. They'll be under the lights again, so... The nighttime racing, it's a good chance for these guys to get used to what the environment's going to be like. J-Mac kind of opening a little bit of distance between himself and the two cars right behind him. That could be a little bit troublesome because you never want to get too far out in front at Daytona or you're going to be a sitting duck. There's way too much draft. These guys are going to catch back up, and already Connor Hudson's starting to make up some ground being pushed by Blaze McKinney.
Well, we got one looking low.
Yeah, we do. That's the 45 of Anthony Foss. Single car entry out of Full Send Racing.
And he's going to go 3 wide with the 87 in the middle, Blaze McKenzie. See what he tries to do there.
Hasn't really made up...
Making it a little... Sorry.
No, you're good. Hasn't really made up too much ground just yet.
But he's trying to take that second spot from Connor Hudson.
Keeping it clean. Caution-free so far. Through 10 laps. Or 9.5 laps. About to finish lap 10.
Field making it interesting a third of the way through.
Yeah, we've had some good 3-wide racing in the back. Look at that again. We're 3x3 back here.
Here comes the 21 of Roberto Crown Jr. Is that his name?
Yeah, Roberto Crown Jr.
Make
his way up to the front.
Yeah, in second. Let's see if he tries to win this thing, get the pole for the 500.
Yeah, Roberto Crown Jr. started off pretty well in the clash, I think.
That being led by the 23 of Landon Mills and the 93 of Kevin Campbell.
Yeah, the 51, I think, was getting a little bit loose between some of those guys in the middle. It looks like he held on to it, though. They were getting pretty close to each other in that turn. But everybody holds on to it. Just jockeying for position on the bottom. That's where you want to be. That's the preferred line. But then it feels like when these guys get up to the race lead, you can see J-Mac has just maintained it by running basically the middle throughout most of this race. 3 wide behind them.
Here comes Crown Jr. pushing Mac. Let's see if he tries to do any form of move to try to get past him.
21 up to the high side. Kevin Campbell now on the 90 and the 93 on the bottom on the Coast Guard Ford Mustang.
Or 3 wide action back there, but
this battle for the lead, it's getting pretty interesting here. 21's giving him a huge push, but eventually he's going to have enough momentum to push his way to the race lead.
well, that's happening. Looks like the rest of the pack is trying to find their line, find their center, try to see what's going on back there.
Oh, Kevin Campbell made a dive to the low side. He's doesn't really have enough of a push, but he thinks he might have enough momentum to get by the 21. And he forces him to the high side. What a move by the 93. Now here comes Eric Braxton in the 82, giving him a push. And does Braxton want to stay with him, or is he going to jump out of line too and try and force it 3 wide? Now he's going to stay in line for right now. J-Max still the leader.
Second.
Yeah, that was... He's still thinking about it. Look at him. He's trying to make a move on the low side.
His teammate right behind him, Felipe, both Eric and Felipe are part of the same team. Felipe looked like he tried to get on the inside there.
The 2 Speed performance cars have linked up. We'll see what those Mercedes cars can do on the bottom. This is not your typical NASCAR series. We've got more than just the usual 3 manufacturers here. And we've got, in some cases, we've got different makes of the same manufacturers.
Gonna go low of Kevin Campbell. See if that does anything.
No,
not enough.
82 was almost below the yellow line. He was getting aggressive, trying to make that push to the bottom.
We're still very much so getting to the middle of the race.
Again, still everybody keeping it clean, keeping it caution-free so far. As we're on lap 15. Again, you're just trying to keep your cars clean for the Daytona 500. Would not be surprised if we did end up having an incident-free race. Of course, anything can happen within these next few laps, but
as of right now, it's just...
Yeah, as of right now, everybody's kind of keeping it clean, as looks like the 11 car of Wes Hayes is starting to lose the draft. He's sort of the first casualty of that. And here we go. We've got green flag pit stops. How about this? We haven't seen any of that.
Oh, man.
As of late, as of the clash.
It looks like the 24 gave up the lead.
That would be the case. Blaze McKinney's on pit road. Dave Smith's on pit road. J Mac. Can't see anybody else for the moment on pit road, but...
But that gave a huge, huge lead to the Crown Royal car. The Chevy.
We'll see if they decide to make their pit stops this time by, or if they keep it going for another lap. We'll keep an eye on Roberto Crown Jr. because he's currently the race leader, but the 24 car, I think, was the first one on the pit road. And yeah, here comes a whole bunch of takers on the pit road.
There we go, yep.
3 cars still stay out. Jack Mitchell, one of them. I think the 23 was another one. So we'll keep an eye on these cars for the moment. And then we'll go back to those 3 that just stayed out. 21 was the leader off pit road. You can see some of those cars on the way distance that stayed out. Four tire stops for these guys.
Fast pit stops is what you need at Daytona, but make sure you stay with everybody, because if you lose the draft, good luck getting it back.
So I think J Mac right now, assuming he makes it back to the line, he would be the leader. Those 3 cars that stayed out that last time by are coming in. Yeah, the 45 is one of them. I think the 23 and the 1 were the other 2 that stayed out. So I believe this right now would be the battle for the race lead if J Mac is able to get back onto the track and stay ahead. Oh, they're getting racy, though. The 15 of Dave Smith is trying to force his way past Mac into the race lead. Are they going to get by these cars, though, that came off of pit road just now? What a move by David Smith to try and force his way into the race lead. Get by the 82, they'll get by the 9, or at least they should get by the 9, but the 9 should be a little bit more up to speed here, but they're going to probably wad up together before they get anywhere near the 21, so I believe the 21 is going to hold on to the race lead. Well, the 23 is still being scored the leader. Those are going to fly by the 3 cars that just came off pit road. There's the 23 right there on the backstretch. So this should effectively be the race lead right here. The 15 of David Smith is going to get a big push from J Mac. And they're going to be lined up together. We'll see how the field is scored this time by. Eric Braxton wants to look to the high side, I think, but he's going to keep it in line. Yeah, the 15. So, yeah, this was, in fact, the battle for the lead. So, Smith the leader, Mack in second, Crown Jr. in third. And you've got the 9. I'm going to butcher his name so many times.
I would attempt to say Hans Norriger. I don't know if that's correct either.
I believe he sent us a pronunciation of his name. Hans Neyrager is what the booth is telling us.
Okay. Well, looks like we have a pretty separated field, from what it looks like.
Yeah, those cars definitely got a whole lot more spread out as those pit stops went through. Some aggressive moves by the 15 of David Smith to assume the race lead, but I think Roberto Crown Jr. is going to be pushing it.
Roberto's got a fast Chevy, and the 9 is pushing him in the General Electric Toyota.
I think that's an Alfa Romeo.
Oh, we got Alfa Romeos. That's cool.
Isn't that the only one in the field?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Good diversity among manufacturers here. Just a single Alfa Romeo in the field.
Doing pretty good.
Indeed. Challenging for the lead here. He's giving a big push to the 21 so far.
And back there pushing the 15 is the 24 who led like a majority of this race, I'm pretty sure so far.
I'm going to jump back through the rest of the field really quick. Let's see where some of these other guys are.
Got a 3-pack right there. This is the 04,
the 51 and the 11. This is the back of the field that came off of pit road. Wes Hayes, I know, lost the draft a little bit. And then you got 3 cars by themselves. Jack Mitchell, Connor Hudson, and Anthony Foss. I wonder, though, if these 2 small groups of 3 can eventually catch up. Because
they cooperate enough, they should be able to.
Yeah, if they stay in line, they don't really get too racy. They could form a pack and maybe work their way back up through the rest of the field. But they are getting a little bit racy. I think they were side by side as I cut back to the lead pack. And we've got a lead change. Hans Neuriger gonna pass the 21. The 21 all by himself on the top 2. He's not gonna have any help. He's gonna get freight trained here as this bottom line. Whole bunch of cars gonna fly by him.
We're 10 to go.
We'll get an overhead view of these guys.
A little bit of 3 wide action.
Yeah, now I think is when they're starting to get racy. We're gonna, I believe, have 10 to go when we get to the stripe this time. And now would be the time if you were to try and make a move and squeeze out the race win. This would be it, as Blaze McKinney in the 87 is challenging for the race lead at the moment.
On top of that, make sure you know who your friends are, know who your enemies are, who you want to push, who you don't want to push.
We discussed the manufacturer disparity in the field here. I think that's the word I'm looking for. We've got a total of 6 makes and 8 models in the field. So we've got Chevy has the Impala and the Camaro. Toyota has the Camry and the Supra. We've got a Dodge Charger, Ford Mustang, Alfa Romeo. I don't know how to pronounce the name of that Alfa Romeo, and I'm not going to try. And then, of course, the Mercedes AMG GT.
Looks like Blaze McKinley is trying to take away the lead from Hines in the 9 car. Let's see if he does.
He's doing what he can. He was holding off multiple lines at once for the time being. But it looks like he's just going to stay in line for the time being. They're going to be side by side for the race lead. Down the backstretch.
Crown Jr. trying to get a 3rd lane started. Looks like the 93 and the 87 are going to pick up both of them, leaving the 24 seemingly empty on the middle lane.
Oh, could they get 3 wide for the race lead? No, Kevin Campbell, he probably thought about it for a second, but didn't really go for it. Didn't really have the push to go for it either.
Nope.
So this is basically it. This is pretty much the path that we're going to stay on for the rest of the race unless anything might happen. Wonder, too, if maybe they come to pit road before the end of it. Don't really know. I think they should be good to make it for the rest of the race on fuel, though. We went to about halfway before anybody else pitted, so... Enriquez in the back trying to make something happen, but he's going to stay with his teammate for now. So we'll see if those speed performance cars can stick together. Only a few more laps to go. You're going to make a move to win the race. We're getting into that territory. And Kevin Campbell again was looking 3 wide on the bottom, but he stays in line for now.
He's starting to risk. It's a high risk, high reward situation. You can either get out of line and try to take the lead, or get out of the line and lose the draft.
And the other problem, of course, is if you end up crashing, if you make too aggressive of a move, you could end up crashing, and you're starting in the back for the Daytona 500. So you want to be careful. It's a calculated risk. You want to be careful about it because you don't want to have to end up bringing out the backup car.
Very much so, but with the bottom lane being preferred, Kevin Campbell could make a very risky move and try to win this thing altogether to get the pole for the 500.
The thing is, though, that Blaze McKinney in the 87, he's holding his line. He's not exactly running the bottom of the track. He's more running like a combination of the middle and the bottom. He's sort of Notice how he's like staying
Right
above
there.
the line, but he's not really trying to make a move to jump up in front of the 9 car.
Yep.
He's just sort of maintaining where he is. Kevin Campbell giving him a push so far on the bottom, but they've stayed in line for the most part. Oh, here we go. Here's the move.
He's looking.
This is it. 3 wide for the race lead. Blaze McKinney in the middle. He has no push. Kevin Campbell has the preferred line on the inside. Is Roberto Crown Jr. going to keep giving him a shove?
And it seems like he will.
Yeah, he is.
Campbell to the lead.
It's going to work. Kevin Campbell in the Coast Guard Ford Mustang is going to take the race lead. The 2 Chevy Impalas are side by side now. Campbell washes up to the high side, though. I don't know if that's where he wanted to be.
Oh, and here comes the 21. A push from the 82.
Yeah, here come those Speed performance cars on the bottom working together. Everybody side by side. Only a few more laps to go. Still 3 wide in the back. Hans was the one who was on the short end of the stick there. He just ended up getting stuck on the high side. Didn't really have any push because those inside lines are sort of more the preferred lines for these drivers in the front pack.
Well, the 21
Braxton looking on the inside.
Yeah, here comes Braxton. I was about to say we should probably go back through the rest of the field just to get a quick one last heat check in the rest of the field before we get through. But now, as I say that, this battle's getting dicey. Roberto Crown Jr. has the race lead for the time being, but he's all by himself. He doesn't want to get too far out in front. 3 laps to go here at Daytona in our first of 2 Xfinity Duels. Reminder, this is the race that will set the inside row for the Daytona 500, so you win, you have the pole. And
like, the 97 is going to push his teammate just all the way, and hopefully one of those 2 cars can get the win here with the teamwork that they're putting in together.
Yeah, this is definitely some good teamwork by those 2 Speed performance cars. They're kind of the only 2 teammates right now, at least definitely in this front pack, that have stayed together. The 93 and the 15 are also teammates, but they haven't really been able to stick together as the race has gone along. So we're going to have to see if they can maybe try and find a way to get together, but we only have 2 laps to go. They're running out of time to make something happen.
Kevin Campbell back to try to challenge the lead.
Oh yeah, he's gonna take a look here on the bottom.
There it is.
Could this be the move? Do you want to make it now or do you want to wait? Here comes Eric Braxton on the bottom. He wants to give him a push. They're gonna see the white flag this time by. Oh, is he gonna look 3 wide? The 93 shoots up the track. The 82 forced his way on the inside.
Pushes the 93.
He doesn't have his teammate anymore though. The 97's still on the top. Coming out of 4, white flag this time by. Roberto Crown Jr. in the 21 is your race leader. He's jumping out really far in front. Is that the move here, or is there going to be a push from the bottom? Are they going to look 3 wide though? Yeah, they are. I think that's Landon Mills in the 23 forcing the issue on the bottom. They're getting really close together though. That's kind of letting the 21 pull away. They're not really working together. Can anybody make a move on the backstretch? This is their last chance. Through 3 and 4, this is going to be the last chance they have to make a pass. Oh, here comes the 82. He's gaining a lot through this corner. He's kind of got the push from both lanes. Isn't going to be enough, though.
Bigger push, but
I don't think he's going to have enough time. I think he's just going to be out of time. Coming to the checkered flag, it's going to be the 21 of Roberto Crown Jr. winning duel number 1 here at Daytona.
Did really good with lane management. It just kept everybody behind him while everybody was fighting for second.
What a race by Eric Braxton, too. What a race by Kevin Campbell. A lot of those guys finishing near the front of the field. That was some great pack racing in the front.
Good job to Roberto from last place to first.
I didn't even think about that. He started dead last, and he worked his way all the way up to the front. It's basically what we say about Daytona all the time. If you're in it, you can win it. and Roberto Crown Jr. with a fantastic job holding off the push from just about every car that worked their way up to the front. And whenever he lost the lead, he quickly worked his way back in front. So good performance out of that Crown Royal Chevrolet Impala. And you can see the field. I mentioned earlier those 2 packs of 3 cars each. It seemed like they did work their way back together. They were kind of mashed together at the front of the field. Great job by all these cars. Really good stuff. Really good action.
Kudos for keeping it clean, too. The whole field, no DNFs, no nothing.
Very clean, very consistent. Amazing job by every driver here as we're going to get ready for the second duel.
Yeah, the second duel will be coming up shortly in just a few moments. But for now, let's go ahead and take a look at our finishing results from duel number 1. Let's go ahead and take a bit of a closer look at our results from Xfinity Duel number 1. Roberto Crown Jr. in the number 21 car, starting dead last in the duel, but he ends up taking the win. He'll start on the pole for the Daytona 500. Eric Braxton in second, Landon Mills third, followed by Kevin Campbell, J Mack, Felipe Henriquez, Hans Neurager, and Blaise McKinney, followed by David Smith and Anthony Foss to round out the top 10. Shortly after that, we've got Thomas Johnson, Jack Mitchell, Connor Hudson, Shazan Rana, and Wes Hayes round out the field. So that's going to be your front, or excuse me, not your front row, but your inside lane for the Daytona 500. Pretty, I don't want to say uneventful race, but it definitely could have been a lot more action-packed, though. At the same time, most of the field did keep it together for most of the race. They just sort of stayed as one pack together. They didn't really do a whole lot. Pit stops are ultimately what decided the race. Roberto Crown Jr. definitely got the better of those. He had the right strategy. He was the first car on pit road, and he took the lead and never looked back. So a great race by that 21 team. We got the other half of the field on their way out to the track soon. Duel number 2 on its way right after this. We'll be back to the Daytona International Speedway. Thank you for watching this presentation of the Adrenaline Sim Racing Association.